Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're in game number 3. We were talking about it. This is the group that we were looking for best of threes to go the distance, and baby, we here.
Let's go. I mean, honestly, this game has so many ramifications for this group because, as we've been saying the entire broadcast, this is the closest group, in my opinion, of the entire tournament, right? So every win matters. Sending your opponent to the lower bracket is huge. Getting yourself in the upper bracket is huge as well. So the fact that these teams both are one game away from doing just that is so absolutely intense. These players are going to be playing their heart out.
Yeah, they have been doing that all night too, man. Like,
yeah,
we have seen some insane 1v1s. We have seen some solo kills happening throughout. There is excitement that's here that can't be replicated anywhere else. So real quick, if you're not already following the Path to LCS Twitch, man, what are you doing? Get in here and join in the conversation because we're going into game number 3, and it is nothing but the finest of excitement inside of this series. These two teams are so evenly matched, MLBD.
They really are, right? This is peak League of Legends content, right? This is the pinnacle of League of Legends. When you get two evenly matched teams blow for blow fighting it out. That game 1 stomp was a little bit of a letdown. You know, it didn't really live up to the fact that we thought these teams were so close. Game 2 was much closer to what I thought it would be, right? It came down to that massive Baron fight where the side of AoE was able to pull it out. The experienced veterans in that fight, Skytech, Young, Winston, able to put the rest of their team on their back, pull it out, and they brought us to a game 3, which I think is going to be a very exciting one because we have so many things, not only from the draft, but also in the game that players are going to want to be switching up for game 3.
I'm curious if AoE does stick with the same strategy. I think it's a very effective one of just contain Naima. I think that was a very effective strategy. Yeah. Not only did they ban 2 of the most played champions from Naima, they also turned around and said, all right, you're playing Diana, you like these AP junglers, we're going to make sure that you can't move around the map. You can't make ganks happen. And I feel like that was a theme inside of it. Winston completely got to take over the early game on the Viego, and that led to the solo lanes being able to pop off in kind.
Yeah, every step of the way. One of the best attributes of Winston as a jungler is the fact that he is so good at tracking where the enemy jungler can be and trying to be in the right place at the right time. And that's a skill that so many junglers, it really goes, you know, untalked about. But Winston is somebody where when he has a read on the map, it's usually the correct read, right? We saw that Diana Naimo was towards the bottom side of the map looking for a play. There was Winston ready to stop that from happening. Also, he was able to be in the mid lane, the top lane, able to look for invades into the jungle. There were just so many things that were happening all across the map to really stymie Naima's success that they had in game 1, and it really was pivotal to giving them that game 2 win.
I also like to think about looking at Young in the matchup. Leo had a great performance in terms of Aurelia, in terms of like looking for the moments, actually ended up like having, I think they were like 3-1 at some point in time, but when we looked at the damage chart, they actually didn't get to do that much damage. It was more they were able to find those last hits. So I do want to see another high impact game.
Ooh, I believe Travesty may have cut out there real quick, but yeah, no, I completely agree with that point. Oda, we got you back, my friend. We've got your video back. We've got your video back.
I'm sorry, I had to jump into the pool for a moment.
Take a quick dip. Take a quick dip.
Got to cool off, man, because this action is just so hot and ready. And I personally, I think the mid lane has just been so important. Leo has had a pop-off game. Young has had a pop-off game. Game number 3, mid lane, probably where we're going to see yet another pop-off to decide the game.
Yeah, it's got to be Young on another one of these mages, right? It's exactly what we know him for. It's what he's strongest at. And if we can get him on a Syndra, on a Zoe, on just some of these long-range control mages that can really decide these fights, that can control the lane phase, that can enable Winston to be Winston. That's what I want to see. Teams are switched for this draft. It's going to be exciting to see how this pans out.
First time for 300 to be on blue side. This is going to be interesting. Yeah. AoE was on blue side both games. They picked Graves game 1, and then they realized, hey, we just need to take the Lucian away. Do they ban the Lucian now?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. There's the Lucian ban. I think that champion is just so strong for the game plan that 300 used in game one to get their win, right? Lucian was the key component to that. And we're seeing some similar bans, right? There's the Fiora ban in response to Zamudo's game one performance. And now this leaves AoE with an open third ban. And there's the Lilia. I really do like the draft adaptation for both teams, honestly.
Yeah, it's turned into both teams immediately saying, okay, you're just not playing this champion. We're done with it. So the first pick, it has been the highest pick rate champion in the entire tournament, and it has been completely missing from this game. Wukong? Let's see it.
Yeah. Oh, there it is. Finally locked in. What did Hawk say? 93% presence in this tournament? That is just ridiculous. That is about as high as you can get for any champion. And it makes sense, right? He's a flex pick. You can put him in various lanes. He's so good in the jungle. He's a strong skirmisher. But I do love the answer for AoE Esports, right? It works so well game two. The Syndra plus Viego combination. You can even flex the Syndra down towards the bottom lane if you would like to. This is what I'd like to see from AoE 300. Now you probably want to respond with your mid laner and potentially a support. You could also go for an AD carry for Minui as well.
Yeah, I'm actually... Wow, goes for the Azir inside of it. So this is the first time we're seeing Leo actually take a step back and go into something more control inside of the mid lane. And as you were talking about, hey, mid lane locked in. Hey, let's lock that support right next to it.
Yeah, I do like the response from 300. You have the Azir who can kind of match blow for blow with the Syndra in the lane. Syndra does win out that lane in terms of just pressure, kill pressure. And I do like the Leona response into Rakan. I do think that AoE is getting all of the pieces that they would like. They're getting a team comp that synergizes maybe just a little bit more together. And I expect to see some bans targeted towards Jisung, right? If you can ban out two of Jisung's champions that he's comfortable on. Camille is a great one. Aatrox is another one. You could look to ban Gwen, something like that.
Yeah.
And then fourth, pick a top laner for AoE. Give yourself a little breathing room in the draft. Leave yourself for a counter pick towards the end. I'm interested to see what direction they go.
Yeah, I'm calling it right now. 4 bans to top lane. I think it's the easiest ban to be able to do at this point in time. So it is the call that I'm looking for because... Yeah, I think you keep the air of mystery between is this mid or is this a bot lane Syndra? I think you keep that mystery all the way till the end.
Yeah, it is going to be fascinating. We haven't really seen bot lane Syndra too much in recent patches, but it has been something that has certainly been played in the past, and it still is playable. And just to remind anybody that might be tuning in now, Loyal is a substitute for AoE who actually plays mid lane for his collegiate team, right? So Loyal more than likely comfortable on the Syndra and able to pilot that very well. But this fourth pick is going to be very telling. You're either blind picking a top laner for Zamudo, or you're giving Zamudo counter pick and picking an AD carry. I do like the Kai'Sa here.
This is very interesting to see a Kai'Sa. I wonder what 300 does answer with, because seeing a Kai'Sa, a lovers duo can be an easy slam.
Yeah, the Xayah Rakan certainly not a bad pairing into the Kai'Sa Leona. Kai'Sa Leona able to deal a little bit more damage. You certainly have windows to look to make plays, but this game, Xayah is not a bad pick whatsoever. You can disengage very easily away from the Syndra and the Viego, the dive threats. Zamudo loves to play diving top laners, so the fact that you're already having built safety is very strong. And a blind Aatrox, I think, rounds out this draft pretty well. It's a safe pick. It can buy space for the Xayah and the Azir, and potentially a Jace counter pick for Zamudo.
Yeah, it has been a story inside of the game too, where we have seen Zamudo getting counterpick, and we have seen him getting nice CS advantages. I do have a little bit of a worry though, because in terms of utility that you can bring in, right? Like you don't have a stun or anything like that for Jace. Jace is very much so, even more so, like snowball or do nothing. And it does give me a little bit of a concern, because we have seen Jisung actually get the better of Zamudo and the 1v1s and whatnot.
Yeah, that's certainly a great point to bring up. I do think that Wukong has room to get solo kills and outplays in this matchup, right? If you can utilize your clone to maybe dodge out on the shock blast, you can get on top of Jace very easily. You also have that inbuilt armor stacking as well from Wukong's passive. So it's going to be a fascinating game with how this draft has panned out. I think that both teams are pretty comfortable with this draft, right? You have playmaking on the side of 300. You have plenty of engage, poke, long-range burst for the side of AoE. It all really depends on how the early game has gone. We saw the first game, 300 was off to an amazing start. The second game, Winston was able to bounce back off of Young's Syndra with his exact same Viego Syndra pairing. And I do think that this match, it does lend itself a little bit more towards AoE being able to blow up the early game.
Whenever I see a Kai'Sa, I immediately go, okay, there's some poke that you can lay in. There's a good dive that you have. There's all sorts of things, right? Because usually when you see a Kai'Sa, you say there's only one direction that this Kai'Sa is going to go. It's going to be forward. You don't play this champion to run away from fights. You want to be the aggressor. So I personally, I'm looking for some very aggressive plays from AoE, like you were talking about. I want to see some early interactions. I want to see the Leona Viego be the team to set the groundwork for some nice dives and some nice damage that is capitalized by this Syndra and by this Jace Kai'Sa to be able to follow up.
In all of their OQ games, AoE has been dominating during the 5 to 15 minute sort of early mid-game mark, right? That is when they have been blowing up their gold leads. That's when they've been just destroying the map. And this game, they are set up to do just that. You have the Jace to play towards. You have the Syndra to set up plays onto Azir. You have the Leona for Skytech to link up with Winston and look for roams. But over on the other side, we've been hyping him up so much. Jisung able to get a champion he's comfortable on. Raheen and Minui able to get a bot lane pairing that is very strong into their opponent. Both teams have tools to come out with a Game 3 win. And this is such an important game and series to close out. Not too much happening in the early game here. Wards dropped in the top side. 2 wards dropped up there. Mia pings towards the top side of the map. Just pretty stable early game.
I'm a bit blown back right now, Dylan. I don't know if you've seen it, but Leo has Conqueror on Azir.
Oh, that's interesting.
I know it's normally like there's a couple different keystones you can go for Azir. The keystones change by the player. It's like a preference kind of thing. This is my first time actually seeing a Conqueror Azir.
Yeah, that is a great point to bring up. I don't know if I've ever quite seen that. I mean, I can certainly see its value, right? If you can get these long extended fights. Normally, I feel like we see something more like the lethal tempo, maybe the electrocute. But Leo probably has some sort of read this game that we're maybe not quite picking up on. But for this early game, it is important to make sure that Zamudo is getting off to a good start, right? He needs to be zoning Jisung off these waves. He needs to be trying to look for plays. Short little trade in the bot lane.
Yeah, looking to aggress. Loyal flash away. Nice stun to react though. Raheen taking a good amount of damage. It forces
and now onto Minui.
And now Minui is caught out of position. He has to use his cleanse as well. The damage is still coming through. The flashing forward. All summoners blown bot lane except for the Ignite. But look who's coming around. Naima is coming in on the flank, looking to capitalize on the flashless bot lane. He is going to look to jump onto Skytech, trying to see if he can lay out a little bit of damage. Has that red.
Oh, got him.
There, and first blood to the lovers duo in the bot lane.
That is huge. Beautiful pathing from Naima to realize that all summoners are burnt. You need to pay some attention towards the bottom side of the map, but this opens Winston up to do so much in the early game. He can go towards the top side. He can look to try and counter jungle 1, maybe 2 camps, and look at Zamudo and where his wave is positioned. Zamudo is able to walk down as well whenever needed. This is such a heavy trade in the bot lane that preceded this replay, and here's Naima. Realizes a level 1 Leona is so squishy without Aftershock. Great target selection there to be going onto the Leona. Raheen's able to get it just into range, and first blood over to Minui.
Beautiful work to come out from the squad. And that was a play that was dancing on the edge of a blade, man. You could have easily found yourself cut if you were on the side of 300, but they showed no fear in the scenario. Getting themselves first blood. Leo looking to trade, but let's watch out. Winston strolling through the mid lane.
And off the back of that, we didn't see it. It was off screen, but Winston was able to secure the blue buff away from Naima, looking to get these Raptors as well because he has Skytech support. And this is what Winston is known for, right? Being this aggressive, in-your-face, pesky nuisance to deal with. It's so annoying to play against a jungle style like this, but it's so effective. Skytech and Winston able to secure the Raptors. They're going to get the double crab, and Winston's able to just go straight into another full clear, right? He's going to clear his bot side, his top side's going to respawn, and he's going to slingshot ahead in golden XP off of this exchange.
Yes, this is absolutely phenomenal for Winston, having yet again another great start on the Viego, a pick that we've talked about being another one that should be highly contested. A lot of these junglers like it. It's high impact. It can take control of the game instantly, and Winston fits his playstyle to the T. As we are looking at where action may happen inside the map. Everything is peaceful now that we've got done with that scrapping that happened in the bot side.
Yeah, peace across the rift, and this is where things get a little bit tough for junglers, especially people that are not too experienced at the role at this level of play. Naima has nothing to do. You can't solo dragon. There's no camps to farm. You can't invade anything. You can't gank. So what do you really do at this point? Your best bet is to try and maybe support a laner that needs to crash a wave. That's why we saw Naima hovering towards the bottom side, walking over a ward that they didn't quite see, trying to just provide a little bit of support towards the mid lane. But look at the CS discrepancy that's developing in the jungle. Already 18 CS, that's going to be 22 CS, then 26 CS for Winston as soon as he's done with his full clear. And this Viego is set up to dominate.
Yeah, he's going to be level 6 before Naima. Naima's going to be level 5, I think.
Yeah.
This is a big canyon difference that Winston's been able to set up for himself because of the fact that early play. It's funny, 300 got the better of the trade, but Winston took full advantage of it. And as you said, shows the experience paying off from Winston.
Yeah, this is just simply knowing exactly how to respond to an early gank like that. If he went into just his regular jungle clear on his side, then he would not be this far ahead, right? Naima would be able to kind of stem the bleeding. He'd be able to get away with going for a gank like that. But Winston has been around the block. He's seen that gank a million times. He knows exactly how to punish it. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's going to look to punish Naima's red buff and Raptor spawn as well. We see Naima heading towards the top side of the map, trying to get Zamudo ahead with Raheen. If this does not lead to a kill onto Zamudo, things are going from bad to worse for 300.
Yes, you're absolutely correct, but it's a nice outco game here. And it is Raheen's up here as well. Dragon secured. Zamudo does need to be cautious.
So tense.
Can look to aggress. This could be a disaster waste of time if they don't get this to happen. This Aatrox is so low. Zamudo is got the World Ender. He's going to be popped. It's a lot of damage, and he will get dropped. Raheen secures the kill, but it is traded back.
I love the fact that Zamudo plays for the trade kill there. I do think that is worth across the board. You're going 1-for-1. Your Kai'Sa's able to get solo XP in the bot lane. And Winston's able to secure a camp or two away from Naima, putting the Wukong even further behind. And look who got the kill as well. Raheen got the kill. That's not who you want the gold on. Skytech and Winston maybe setting a trap.
Oh, no. Oh. Raheen jumps over the wall. Doesn't have to face the jump scare, though. Skytech doesn't go forward with it, but it's still chickens being taken away. It's an all-you-can-eat buffet for Winston.
Yeah, Winston is incredibly happy with how this matchup has played out. I promise that on comms right now, he is telling Zamudo that it's okay. It's worth, my friend. Look at the jungle lead. Look at the CS lead. This Viego is going to be able to clear his camps, reset, have his mythic item ready for the Rift Herald skirmish, and he is set up to just take over this game in Game 3. Zamudo, heavy trade.
Whew. Yeah, it's hard to trade into Aatrox though. Aatrox has so much innate healing. It's actually very hard for him. He's going for these trades now, and we'll have to see if this lead that they've been able to give to this Aatrox in terms of giving him a little bit of gold does come out, because he also got a plate. Young doesn't get caught up in the stream of shuffle, but he goes back in. It is going to be a
Winston!
trade. Young finally goes down, but Naima had to take so many tower shots. Winston gets himself some nice revenge.
This is the Winston I know and love, taking the double kill for himself, clearing the entire wave. He's going to go get Herald. He's going to reset. He's going to have so much gold to spend, and he is just taking over this game right now. Young, it looks like right here that he's kind of disengaged, but Leo with the beautiful flash to catch out Young, get him with the Emperor's Divide. But honestly, Winston, again, in the right place at the right time. He always has a read on what is going to be happening in the game, and he has Treasure Hunter too. So that is even more gold than is showing. 77 to 29 CS. Is this a jungle gap? Is this a jungle canyon travesty?
Well, it's like, look at this. Here's the total gold, and this is your answer right now. The Wukong is at 2.8, and right now Winston is at a straight 4K. It's a 1.2K difference between the two of them, and look at the gold difference. It's about a 1.2K difference between AoE and 300. It is a complete gold lead that is built inside of the jungle, and that's scary when there's a Viego on the other side.
I will say, Viego against Wukong, like you said, is really the only tangible lead for AoE Esports, right? Besides that lane, everywhere else is pretty even, right? Supports are even, AD carries are even, mid laners are relatively even, and the top lane is quite even as well. So if Winston messes up in a fight, or is not there in a fight, 300 certainly has the tools to try and be winning some of these skirmishes, and I fully expect them to try and play towards getting that shutdown onto Winston, because that Kraken Slayer Viego, he does a heck of a lot of damage, but he can also die in the blink of an eye.
Yes, he's not the most durable member with this itemization that he's gone for. He's looking to beat that big carry. Winston going to catch out Naima on the blue buff. This is an immediate call from Skytech to look the Zenith Blade in, but everybody dips out. Doesn't have to worry about getting jumped upon just yet.
Yeah, afraid of getting rolled up on by the boys. Skytech always having Winston's back, giving blue buff over to Young, and 40 seconds until this next dragon. First one was secured by the side of AoE Esports. I fully expect second dragon to be secured by AoE as well. I don't see any reason why you would want to fight a Kraken Slayer Viego at this point in the game, unless Winston maybe dies before dragon, but given that the way he's pathing with Skytech, it should be second dragon secured. So now you're looking towards a counterplay, maybe in the top lane.
Yeah, World Ender has been used. Zamudo is going to take a huge trade here. Does go to the hammer and smacks him away, so not going to be anything else but half HP. There is a TP difference between the two top laners as well. So you see Zamudo immediately recalling, but he's heading topside.
Yeah, he is heading topside. No teleport available. Jisung walking down. If they wait and are patient, they could have a member's advantage. Winston goes now.
The Cyclone use. That is a big ability you needed to use in this crucial team fight. And now they do not have it. They cannot let it rip inside of the team fight.
Zamudo also walking down as well.
Raheen?
Raheen, ooh, good dodge away from the Scout of the Week. Here's Zamudo, though. He realized that Jisung was walking down. He needed to match. Now he's here in the mid lane, and this should be Dragon over to AoE.
Yeah, this should be. We are seeing them yet again trying to punish Naima. This is where the target set after game number 1, after Naima had just a breakout performance, they have focused every resource into making sure that Naima is not able to break out again. Ooh,
huge engage!
The shuffle comes in! Viego is dropped! They're looking for more people to pop as Zamudo's trying to lay into damage. The Featherstorm has been used. A root connects onto Young. Loyal was able to flash out a harm. It is just one kill, but Dragon still secured for AoE.
Such an explosive engage. It felt like it came out of nowhere for 300. They were set up to give the Dragon, but they instantly make the call to go over the wall to look to blow up the Viego and steal the Dragon. They don't get the Dragon steal, but crucially, they get the shutdown onto Viego. Let's look at how this unfolds. Very, very close. Winston barely gets it. The charm into the Emperor's Divide. Winston able to get away, but he cannot quite survive. Uses the flash as well. And this is where Manui saw it. He saw the massive flash engage, but beautiful flash away from Loyal. Disengages the entire fight. It's a 1-for-0. Dragon goes over to AoE Esports, a plate over to AoE, and the game sort of stabilizes. The gold lead is the same. Dragon goes over, but cooldowns are burnt for the side of 300. Flash burnt on every member besides Leo.
Yeah, Flash not burned on Leo, so still has the option for that Flash engage to possibly lay in the hurt in a scenario where anybody steps out of the way, gets put out of place. Young looking to see if he can get in range on Leo, and this is
oh my gosh, Leo. That is a that is an interesting answer. Set so he can do a quick 1-2 combo to my stomach and I won't have to live on a deserted island anymore. Honestly, I feel like with how big and buff Set is, a 1-2 combo is really all it takes to take somebody out.
I feel like 70% of the League of Legends community would agree.
Yeah. I don't think the average League player can
at least with that
Set.
reasoning.
Yeah, that is... I like the answer. I like the answer. Honesty is the best policy, and Leo knows that.
You know, yes, I appreciate the honesty. As we are going back into the game, 300 just looking to try and reclaim some control of the map. I do like some of the vision that they've been able to secure for themselves deep, but it doesn't seem like they have anything very defensive for themselves.
Yeah, they don't have too much defensive vision. Able to get the bot lane tower. Sure, it is split over 3 members and you trade mid lane turret, but gold is gold at this point in the game, and any little bit of map control certainly helps. Zamudo in the top lane doesn't really have the assistance he needs to look for a dive onto Jisung. We do see Skytech walking up, but I don't think anything's really going to come of it. Rift Herald secured for AoE Esports. They're going to be looking to take top tower or bot tower with this. We're going to have to see how AoE wants to play it.
Yeah, Jisung will get vision on Skytech, so he knows he's there. He just saw that the Herald was taken, so he knows to play with respect. He knows there are 3 members possibly up here, but look at 300. They're moving as a unit. They are failing seen around. And Winston, your red buff is a trap now.
The gang rolling up in the jungle. They're all 3 walking together. Skytech, it feels like he might have an idea that they're here. He's not going to face check the right bush. Doesn't put a ward down, though, so they still have no knowledge of this invade from 300. They do have a blue trinket in there, so they will have some advanced knowledge.
They know that they're all wrapping around. Just the world ender is there, but he gets
they're too late
before the rest of the team can get there. No amount of quickness will be able to get you there. A solar flare, a beautiful cleanse. Manui trying to get out of harm's way. Raheem trying to see if he can play interference, but it's going to be
the yank.
Looking to tag and bag a nice root on the 3 members, and they barely survive a ruthless pursuit from AoE.
The crucial part of that travesty is the cooldowns burnt by Manui. The kill doesn't really matter. It's a little bit more gold, but the fact that Manui burns Cleanse and Ultimate right before this dragon means that he is a sitting duck for Skytech as soon as that solar flare is back up. This more than likely means that AoE will secure the 3rd dragon of the game, and that means that they will be knocking on the door of a Dragon Soul and a potential very, very crucial win condition with this poke composition they have.
This poke composition could be so oppressive as it gets ahead. The one thing I will say that has been a little bit to AoE's detriment is they do want to get some of this gold onto the Kai'Sa, right? Loyal hasn't been able to really get any gold, and Kai'Sa's one of the champions that needs that money to be able to get that itemization to evolve them abilities.
This is quite tense. Both teams lining up towards the mid lane, just clearing mid waves now. Dragon is started, and it is being forfeited to the side of AoE Esports, and that's the downside of looking for an offensive play towards the top side. You burn your cooldowns on Manui. That means there is no possible way that you can fight that skirmish. And now we're looking towards 4 minutes in the future. What can 300 really get going with their team to try and be in a position to contest this Dragon Soul? All of their champions are on 1 item now. They need to be on 2 items before the next dragon to really stand a chance. AoE is gonna have a 2nd item on Winston. Already 2 items on Zamudo. Young in the mid lane, likely to have 2 items. Loyal might not get there just because of the fact they have no kill participation yet and not a ton of farm, but going to be very close. So we're going to have to track over the next 3 or so minutes what sort of gold can these carries inject to really make a stance in that final dragon fight.
Yeah, it becomes a very question.
Look at that gold for Winston.
Oh my. 7.6 in comparison to the 6K. I mean, this gold lead, it's Winston. Winston's the experienced jungler. This is what we were thinking was going to happen from the very get-go when we said, okay, there's a substitute jungler, and Naima doesn't have a ton of competitive experience. But it has been Winston that has had to pay respect and say, okay, I need to show active attention towards you now.
Yeah, I wonder if it is a champion thing where maybe Graves just isn't quite as strong right now after maybe the durability patch, or if it's just simply a mindset thing, right? Winston went into game 1 maybe a little bit too full of himself or just not really in the right mindset, and he's really reset his mental after game 1, and he's had 2 amazing performances back-to-back with the help of Young, Skytech, Zamudo, and Loyal, of course, right? He's not just solo carrying these games. The rest of the team is playing very well alongside him. But that being said, the game is not over by any means. 3,000 gold lead is a lot, and it's going to be tough to overcome, but it's not insurmountable, right? We've seen 300 have great team fights before, and if Raheen and Leo can get a good engage going together, then they can look to try and punish AoE and secure this next dragon and get a foothold back in the game.
Yeah, it's all about getting the gold into the carries for 300, I feel like. If you get the Azir Zaya going, we saw what happens when they played that double marksman composition. They had the highest damage numbers by far, and they are playing 2 champions at scale very well. The problem is, just while this is all happening, while they respond to the Herald that got dropped in the bot side, they are cutting off every escape. Teleports are being forced. Azir will be able to join the fray. Sintra's not here. This could be a big fight for them to be able to win. They got the golden Skytech, and it is the kill answered and returned. A quickening coming in. Zamudo has to run for the hills.
Manui
had to TP in, but TP to the lane and is not there to be able to save him. That is 2 big kills to 300.
Are they going to start the Baron? Do they feel that confident? The answer is no. They are going to take the mid lane turret instead, but that is exactly what they needed. They burned Zamudo's flash, they burned Skytech's stopwatch, and all of that right before the dragon fight that is about to unfold in the next minute and a half, and they're going to take these resets. They're going to spend their money. Take a look at the inventories for the different champions. What second items can come in before this dragon? Because that is going to make or break this team fight for both sides.
You can even see how this team fight started. This was a ruthless pursuit for the Aatrox, and you can even see they used everything. Jason barely dodged out on every ability.
Yeah, he really does. The prediction on the Solar Flare not quite panning out, but still burns the flash anyway. Naima looking for an engage, and I thought that was quite bold, but they get the stopwatch out of Skytech. They leave Skytech out to dry. They realize that he's dead. There's no bomb cone to take for Zamudo, and he's just simply caught out, right? The flash forward from Manui, able to secure that kill. More importantly, it is a shutdown onto Manui, and that gold is going to be crucial for this next fight. Like you were saying, getting gold into your carries, massive scatter the weak.
Naima is caught out of position. A beautiful quick. They hit onto 3 members. Naima still gets dropped. Raheen barely survives. But it's right before Dragon. This is a disaster scenario.
Oh no, and pings onto the Baron for 300. Maybe they go for a desperation Nash attempt, but it's probably not going to happen. AoE Esports, that pick in the enemy jungle, likely to secure them Dragon. Definitely going to secure them Dragon Soul. And at this point, the gold lead is not that much, but the power that you get in this poke damage-centric composition from Hextech Soul, it seems so tough to overcome, Travesty.
I am right there with you. It is disgusting soul to get, and when you have just pure unadulterated damage like AoE Esports has, whew, this is spooky, man. And 300, they gotta figure out a way to stem the tide. They have to figure out a way to turn things, and I feel like it's going to come off of the back of AoE being too aggressive. They have to look for those moments yet again. And that's going to be rough for them. They've got to find a way to turn an advantage to themselves.
Yeah, it's going to be quite hard because, again, you've drafted a composition that I think this is 300's first composition that really has a cohesive identity. You have engage, you have the ability to play front to back, but the difficulty in playing front to back when you're behind is that sometimes the damage can be too overwhelming, and we see AoE instantly starting the Baron the second their recalls are stopped. This is what the game is going to be decided by AoE not wanting to coin flip the Baron. That means that 300 does have access to the mid wave. They could look for an objective bounty on the mid lane turret. We're going to have to see how this pans out.
Raheem trying to make sure to play spoiler. This is an objective bounty, so this will be a nice influx of gold. Zamundo looking to check anything that he possibly can. Not going to be able to secure the tower. They do have a Azir tower right behind them, so they have a little bit of a net, an extra teammate to work with at this moment.
If the gold lead can stay this close before Elder Dragon spawns, I actually think 300 is in an okay position, right? Because they can get close to 3 items, they can look to maybe get some stopwatches for their composition, and I actually think if the gold lead is close, they have a very realistic possibility of looking to win the next team fight. The problem is AoE realizes that. They need to snowball their gold lead. That is why they're putting so much priority on this Baron, because if they can get the Baron before Elder Dragon spawns, they can get a bigger gold lead, and it doesn't matter that their team composition might be worse in a team fight, because they're just so far ahead. So AoE, it will put so much pressure on the Baron right now.
And this is where they need to apply it, right? Like you said, they want to snowball. They want to go ahead and crash in whatever they can. And you can see they're trying to catch this Aatrox again. That was Solar Flare used by Skytech. Then you're so aggressive, and this is what I love to see about Skytech. He shows no hesitation when he sees a kill shot.
Skytech will pull the trigger on an instant, and you're right. That is exactly what I love about him. He's one of the most aggressive supports. But the engage on Zamundo!
Cyclone immediately. They're coming in. They're going in. They're aggressing forward. But look,
G-Sung!
Aatrox trying to see what he'll be able to do. They're trying to continue to fight this fight. Young is cut off from the team. He rejoins the fray. The Scatter of the Weak comes in. But look at it. Skytech trying to play spoiler. But it's not enough. AoE is falling. 1-5-1. Young gets dropped. Skytech drops. And that is 300 finding the ace.
Oh my goodness gracious travesty. 300 finds the miracle engage off the back of their substitute jungler. Naima coming over the wall, able to find the play to Zamundo, the rookie player for AoE, caught out of position. Winston, we've been hyping him up this game. So much gold and power invested into him, and he doesn't really do anything in this fight. Let's see how this pans out. Fog of War, beautiful engage. Oh my gosh, Raheen able to get the charm onto 2 members. Ji-Sung diving straight onto the back line. Winston caught out in the Zanyas, picked off shortly after. And this is where I think that Young is maybe able to turn the fight. Big Scatter of the Weak, but not enough damage. Manui is safe. Raheen is peeling for him. Disengage. And here's Ji-Sung, the new player to amateur, popping off in that team fight. Wow.
I am speechless, man. That is such a good amount of decision making coming out. Now we have Elder Dragon spawning in under 2 minutes, and you called it out. You said, hey, I don't think 300's in the worst case scenario, and that's what they need to do. They need more catch outs like that. They need to keep them on their toes. And 300, they are showing no signs of being proactive. They are looking to be proactive every sense of the word.
One important thing to call out about that last fight is actually a unique Wukong mechanic, right? Wukong, with a change that has happened recently within the past couple of patches, is able to hop over certain walls with his W. The wall that he hopped over by the mid lane is one of, if not the toughest wall to hop over with Wukong. To actually get that wall jump successful, you need to have practiced it in practice tool, right? So the fact that Naima was able to nail that in that moment, game 3 of a very even game where everything is riding on the line, it speaks so much about their potential as a player. That is such a pivotal moment to have that mechanic nailed down. And that is just so amazing to see. But now 300, with the Baron buff, with the gold lead, is able to get control in the river for this Elder Dragon. AoE will not give this up without a fight. We are going to get another banger 5v5.
That's absolutely true. And these teams are looking to square up, and it is a very scary situation for both of these teams. And I want to highlight, you talked about Naima. I want to highlight Raheen too. They almost have 100% kill participation, both of these players. So keeping our eyes on both of them, as they've been the playmakers inside of these team fights time and time again. As you see, AoE is trying to push up this midway. They are trying to aggress.
Yeah, AoE trying to just stretch 300 thin, but you can just send Jisung towards the mid lane with Baron. You can't really threaten the inhibitor. Jisung has teleport to rejoin the team, and now it all comes down to a pivotal 5v5. We saw Naima find the engage angle in the last fight. Can Naima find the engage in this fight? It's not looking like it's Zamudo with some heavy poke.
Yeah, Zamudo's looking to put in some heavy poke. The dance has begun. You can see Loyal. They have faith in Loyal to shove out this wave. He can rejoin a fight in an instant with the killer instinct. Is looking to do just that. Is taking a long wraparound. The dragon is at half HP. Here we go. The quickening has been popped. They're going to go ahead and catch on to Scotch. They're going to be able to go into the back line. The Cyclone is there. The Emperor's Divide as well. It is Wukong popping up, getting one kill, but it's a 1-for-1 so far. And Divided, they are going to fall. AoE are getting dropped so low. Leo finishes off Loyal, and they are continuing the onslaught. But Zamudo's Winston going over to the side, finds the kill on the Leo, but now he has been exposed. He jumps back into the fight. Zamudo! It's hammer time. It's Young and Zamudo looking to play clutch. Jisung versus the world, but Zamudo, can you handle Jisung? The answer to that question is no! A double kill! Jisung with a statement and an ace for 300.
The two baby top laners duking it out. Oh my goodness gracious. So poetic that it comes down to the top laners 1v1ing. We've been hyping them up since the beginning of the broadcast. So much happens in this team fight. Let's break it down piece by piece. Zamudo looking to come in from the flank. Raheen realizes that he needs to go forward here. Skytech landing the ultimate. Great ult, but it's cleansed away from Manui. And Jisung and Manui put in so much work here. Leo as well on the Azir. Stopwatches to prevent any damage from coming in. Loyal, I like the dodge away there, able to buy some time. If Loyal died instantly, I actually think it's Elder Dragon cleanly over to the side of 300, but he buys time, he separates Leo away, and Winston with the hero play to save Elder Dragon from going over. Finds the engage, almost survives, but we're right back to it.
Oh man, Raheen has been chunked down. The redemption has to be used. Here we go, the quickening yet again. They're going to be able to find a huge
300!
Doesn't hit on anyone though. They're looking to go in. Zamudo pops the Raheen right off the get-go, but 300 is wiping the
Jisung!
Look at Jisung, the world ender for the side of AoE. They are getting conquered right now. As Jisung putting on a clinic in the fight. Zamudo poking over the wall, and yet again it's Jisung versus the world. He's looking to see what he can do, but this time Winston is here. He goes golden. Can he stem the tide? The answer is no. AoE, they turned the fight on its head. This is Elder.
This is Elder Dragon over to the side of AoE off the back of their veteran Winston and their newcomer Zamudo. You could not write storylines better than this. These fights are going down to the nail every single time. Loyal right there. Sure, the scoreline might not show it, but the damage in that team fight was immense. Winston waiting to secure it for the rest of his team. That's Elder Dragon over to 5 members of AoE. They're going to be able to waltz to the Baron, get that Baron, and secure a gold lead for themselves. But look at how this team fight starts. It's another explosive engage from Raheen here on Rakan. Massive two-man charm, but they don't quite finish off Young. He's able to get off his ultimate and a little bit more damage. And look at Loyal here. He's pumping out damage, stalls time, but Winston able to just take over body after body after body and snowballing this fight here. Zamudo over the wall to finish off that kill. This fight is so close, Travesty.
It's so close. Jisung trying everything in his possible power here to make this fight happen for his team, but small things that built up over time. We even got to see the Emperor's Divide didn't hit its mark. And you can see Zamudo in that last fight was pumping out tons of damage. These top laners have been so impactful, and this is exactly why we looked at this matchup when we were like, yo, who we hyping up? It's easy, baby. Jisung, Zamudo, it makes all the sense in the world.
two absolutely stellar top lane prospects that will undoubtedly be dominating amateur for years to come. Jisung and Zamudo playing incredibly well in some of their debut matches in Proving Grounds Summer 2022. And they're knocking on the door of a reverse sweep, back-to-back wins in Game 2 and 3. They have Elder, they have Baron, but can they quite close it out? They're not able to get that second Nexus turret yet. They don't have a wave for a very long time. They need to make a play if they want to win.
Yeah, Manui got dropped down very, very low. Does have to be careful. With this Elder Dragon, this could be what breaks the Camel's back. Young trying to see if he can get that poke. The Scatter of the Weak is there. They have to be careful. Here's the wave, as you said. This is nail biting.
This really is. So much riding on this moment here. Do they get the one shot?
Oh,
that was the clone. He ulted the clone. Okay, Syndra ult burned on the clone. That should be able to buy 300 time to disengage, and we see recalls coming in. The game is not over, Travesty. Elder Dragon will time out. Baron buff soon to time out afterwards, all off the back of a beautiful clone from Naima to absorb the Syndra ultimate. And now it comes down to what will happen at the next cycle of Elder Dragon and Baron. I believe they are spawning very close to one another in terms of time, because they are staggered by 1 minute, but they were taken about 1 minute apart. So it's going to be interesting to see what sort of control can AoE leverage to try and make sure that they can get those objectives.
Or my heart rate is very insanely high right now after this game. This game has got me on the edge of the seat. I'm not even playing in the game. I'm just watching it. And both of these teams going head to head with each other time and time again. It's just Group C is a group to watch, man.
Group C has some of the most banger matchups possible in this tournament, and I'm so excited that we get to bring it to you all live. 35 minutes into this game, a 4,000 gold lead, now 5,000 for the side of AoE Esports, and at this point, gold leads do not mean a ton, right? But with that gold lead plus the Hextech Soul, it certainly is a meaningful advantage going into the next fight, but we've seen crazier turns from the side of 300. Jisung, Naima, Leo, able to deal so much damage in these team fights, as well as Manui.
Yeah, right there on it, man. Redemption having to come through, keeping the HP bars as healthy as possible. 2 minutes until Elder Dragon comes back around. We are seeing the Pope being unrelenting on the side of 300. AoE are continuously firing down with their range. This is oppressive. And AoE Esports, they want nothing more to figure out a way to close out this game.
Let's take a breather before the very intense fight that's about to occur at the Elder Dragon. Let's look at the inventories for both teams. What items have both teams accrued to try and give themselves a good advantage? Zamudo up an item on Jisung thanks to CS as well as kills. In the jungle, it's pretty even, about 3 items per champion. In the mid lane, it is quite even as well. A slight edge towards Leo, but nothing too meaningful. Very similar itemization and damage coming out from both mid laners. AD carries, I think, is where 300 is going to hang their hat on. Not only does Manui have the advantage just being a traditional AD carry player versus Loyal, who's a substitute, but Manui has about an item and a half advantage over Loyal. So Manui has to be the thing that 300 leverages to win this team fight. He has all of the tools within his kit to try and be just that, to try and carry this team fight at the Elder Dragon. The gold lead over time bouncing back and forth and back and forth until we finally rested in this position. 40 seconds until the Elder Dragon. A tight game, Travesty.
It is tight indeed, man. This is a game that is down to the wire. Both of these teams wanting to punch their way in that upper bracket. They want to get this dub early and send one of these teams down to the lower bracket. Scattered a Week comes in. Zamudo laying in some poke from the side. Elder Dragon in under half a minute here.
Look at Winston. Oh my goodness gracious. Winston. They do not know about Winston. If they can...
Oh, look at the poke. So much. Leo is so low.
See him.
Leo's gonna get checked. He's gonna get stunned. Beautiful trying to be able to connect. Loyal goes in with the killer instinct, but look into the back line. The Cyclone's huge. That's Zamudo's hammer. Manui! Oh, they are absolutely decimating. But check it out. The world ender, the GA pot, they're coming back in. Manui isn't able to stay alive for long enough.
That's
Zamudo finishes it off. AoE, a triple kill for the Syndra, and it's AoE with the dub.
Winston lying in wait. Oh my gosh, he found a cheeky little angle to get over the wall, to be hiding in a bush that 300 would never expect, and he's able to chunk Leo down to his stopwatch, make it so that the Azir is a non-factor in the fight, and Manui tried his hardest. He fought tooth and nail. Look at the damage compared to the rest of his team, but it's not enough. Zamudo on the chase, Young on the Syndra, carrying us to a Game 3 victory, AoE taking it 2-1.
Holy. Yo, is there a lifeguard on station right now? Because I need to get checked out. Hold up. That series was mind-blowing. And both these teams, this is a team matchup that was just like, all right, 2 substitutes. 1 substitute on each squad getting thrown in here. What happens then? And all expectations out the window, man. This was better than I could have even imagined it.
It really was. Game 1 left a lot to be desired in terms of having a close series. That one was over by the 15 or 20 minute mark. Game 3 made up for it, Travesty. And let's look at this post game. You love Zamudo. Walk me through what you see.
So I see 44k damage on a Jace. Like Zamudo, if you go back and just do a watch through of what Zamudo's positioning is like in these fights, you'll see why he's the last one alive in every single one of these fights, and you can see exactly why he's laying in that damage. He's unchecked in a lot of these fights, and while the Aatrox is very flashy because he's in these fights doing these big slams, off to the side is the Jace laying in the groundwork and is continuously doing it. And like you said, I'm a big supporter of Zamudo. I think Zamudo is one of the most valuable North American prospects that you have out there to keep your eyes on. And this game right here, game number 3, where it all comes down to the wire, you can see it. Just look at the way that this team fight plays out between them.
Yeah, I mean, this is just replay after replay, every single fight. This is the one where 300 actually finds the massive engage. And we thought that would be turned by Young, but it's just not enough, right? The one team fight where Zamudo dies instantly is the one team fight where 300 wins. Every other team fight dominated by Zamudo with all of the poke that he's able to lay down before, as well as all of the damage that he's able to deal during the fight. And I think the most important thing to me is the fact that as basically a rookie player, you're able to stay so composed in these late game insane team fight moments. We saw 3 or 4 pivotal team fights where Zamudo is one of the final members standing, and he's just carrying the fight for his team, dealing the most damage, able to peel his carries, able to kill their carries, and being able to perform like that on this stage with that pressure on you, he's a special player.
Yeah, absolutely is. And got to showcase that. No, I'll put up the argument now after that series. You can say all 10 players on the Rift there are very valuable prospects. Everybody has been put on check, but that means that we do get ourselves a interview. So we are going to take ourselves a short little break, get ourselves ready, get ourselves composed, as we will have a winner's interview coming up from AoE. So make sure you don't go anywhere. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Path to LCS channel. My name is Travesty, and I am joined here with top laner from AoE, Zamudo. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing fine.
Okay, I love to hear that. You guys pick up a dub. You had a fantastic performance inside of game number 3, man. How was it? I know I saw you have a little bit of trash talk in Twitter at the very beginning before the series started. How does it feel to come out on top in the series?
Well, first, I'm really glad I got to win this 3rd game and close out this series on a good note. And honestly, I was really nervous about picking Jace because I haven't played it in like months, ever since a few matches ago.
Okay. So you're like, yo, game 3, it's a vital match. It's just like, hold on, I'll pop off. Don't worry about it, guys. I like that. So you have an interesting situation. Both of you guys have a very evenly matched best of 3, and each team has a substitute that comes on board inside of this. Did that affect y'all's game plan going into the series at all? Or is there anything that you guys felt like you had to go back into the drawing board for?
Yeah, I think game 1, we had the intention to play bot, but since we had a sub, we decided to play top. Then game 2, our ADC was really confident, and we just decided to play through bot, and it worked. We just destroyed them.
I like that. Hey, look, confidence is the name of the game. And Young showed some fantastic confidence as well. How were comms going throughout? Because it was constantly like you guys were setting up some risky plays. Y'all had Winston. We showed a replay actually right before we went over to break where it was Winston sitting inside that bush in that last fight. How are comms for you guys? Are you guys calm and collected, or is it chaos?
Comms are on until Azir overstepped. Then Winston was really urgent to have us go on Azir. And overall, I think my team made it really easy for me to understand what was going on in the game.
Absolutely, man. I'm imagining you guys probably had like the Vayne moment that we all know and love. So you're a prospect that a lot of people have been hyping up. A lot of people have been very interested in watching your journey inside of Proving Grounds. Is there any pressure that's kind of coming along with so many eyes that have been turning over to you as a player? Or has it been just another chip on the shoulder? Have you been just like, all right, I'm just going to keep crushing top laners like I always have been?
I think originally I was really nervous, like before coming into the series, but like while playing with like my team and just doing a few scrims, they really do like a great job of making me feel like confident in myself, and like it feels like they believe in me, and that's all I can like really ask for.
I love to hear that. So, Zamoto, thank you. Is there any words that you would like to have for your supporters that have out there that have been watching your journey and constantly been supporting and pushing the envelope on the Zamoto hype top carry?
Yeah, I'd just like to thank everyone who has supported me so far. And I think I can safely say that I probably played better than I did in the open qualifier a week ago, at least.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're looking forward to more. You guys punched your ticket over into the upper bracket and whatnot. So thank you so much for the interview, and best of luck in your Nets match. I know you'll be probably watching this Nets match up very closely, Zamuda.
Yeah, thank you.
Take care. And that was, hey, look, Zamudo coming in, feeling confident, and it's great. You love to see that from a player, and Zamudo has been that top carry, and we got to hear those words from him. Mm-hmm. You'd love to see it, but hey, we're going to take ourselves a short little break because we're not done. That's right. That was only our first series. We still got a phenomenal series coming up. We got Team Pending and CLG Faith taking the stage next. So we're going to take ourselves a short break, and we'll be right back.